Most mortgages that get declined don't get declined because of debt to income, don't get declined because of credit. They get declined because of lack of documentation. So in this video, I want to go over what is needed, what you need to save, what you need to keep, and what things are best to hold on to help improve your odds at getting approved and also make the process a whole lot smoother. My manual underwriting document checklist. It will make your life a lot easier when you're ready to purchase a home. So, and this will be available for download in the video as well. But the most important thing is housing history. So right now, I don't know how you're paying your rent, but you need to stop paying in cash if that's what you're doing right now. The best way is checks. If you don't have checks, I would recommend go buy 20 checks. They're usually about 25, 30 bucks. That'll cover you for a whole year. Only use them for rent. Then it's very, very easy at the end of the year. Pull your 12 checks. Bam, you got 12 months proof of rent. Now for VA, it may be 24 months, but most other programs it's just 12 months. Next thing is no late payments. Do not be late. And by late payments is anything that's more than 30 days late. Income documentation. This is the next step. It's always needed. Your most recent 30 days pay stubs, last 2 years W-2s. And we usually get a written verification of employment. And if you're self-employed, we'll need 2 years tax returns and a current year-to-date profit and loss statement. Now, one thing I did want to include in this, if your income is variable, so your hours change, if you get paid a lot of overtime or bonus income or commission, typically we'll also ask for your final pay stub of the prior year. So like this year, we would ask for your final pay stub of 2025 and final pay stub of 24. The next thing is asset documentation. We usually request 2 months bank statements. 2 months isn't always needed, but we like to get 2 months. And this allows us to source the down payment, so we know where it's coming from. We have to make sure that it meets the guides set by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, as well as whatever program you're using, whether it's FHA, USDA, or VA. When you have non-traditional credit or a no score, what's going on is essentially you have to prove your payment history. When you have a credit score, you don't have to prove it because you got a credit score. Well, if you don't have a credit score, now we got to prove your payment history. So typically, I would just go for 4 trade lines, rent being 1, utility bills being 2. Now, it's very, very important that those utility bills are in your name. If the utility bills are in your girlfriend's name, your parents' name, even if you're paying it, it's not going to count as a trade line. So you got to make sure that the power is in your name, the water is in your name, the gas is in your name, the cell phone bill is in your name, your insurance is in your name. So all of those things count. And what I would do is make sure they're set up for auto bill, so they're coming out of your account automatically. And then after 12 months, it's very, very easy to go in your online banking, isolate just your cell phone bill, and it'll pull 12 months worth of cell phone payments. Bam, you got that. Do it for insurance. Bam, you got that. Do it for utility bills. Bam, you got that. So I'm really just trying to hit on these are things that I see. People that would have normally been qualified, but because the cable bill and the utility bill are in mom's name, even though they've been paying for it, according to the guidelines, I cannot use it. So if that person had just had the utility bill in his name, they're in a house and no longer renting. Next is debt and obligations. List all your debts, even not on credit, because just because it's not on the credit report, doesn't mean it doesn't count. For one, child support and alimony, those need to be documented. If you're receiving child support, document every time you receive it. If you're paying child support, if it's not electronic, it almost always is now, but if it's not, make sure you can document it, and you should be doing that regardless. Any payment plans or agreements, if you've been late on taxes, if you've got judgments, whatever it is, those things don't report to the credit bureaus. So it's very important every time you make a payment on a collection, anytime you make a payment on any payment plans or agreements, document it. You cannot expect that the people receiving it are. Explanations. A lot of times, especially for manual underwrites, you have to do a letter of explanation for late payments. So they're going to look at your payment history. If there's been no lates in the last 12 months and no more than 2 lates in the last 24 months, you're usually fine from the manual underwrite. But they're going to go back even further. And any lates that they see before that, you're going to have to come up with an explanation as to what caused the late. You're also going to have to explain how you've changed your budget or what things you were doing different to prevent that from happening again. The next thing is gaps in employment. And this is big. So I see somebody that's working at a current job, they've been there for a year, but before that they were off for 6 months. Well, I got to, for almost every file, you got to string together a 2-year history without any job gaps, right? So even if you had that job gap, that didn't outright deny you, but at some point throughout your work history, we have to prove that you worked 2 years without a break, without any breaks longer than 6 months.